Hello everyone and welcome back to another book review. Today I am going to be reviewing volume 26 of Haikyu. This is the start of the spring tournament and I am so excited to talk about this book, so let's dive in. Volume 26. As mentioned, volume 26 is the beginning of the spring tournament. So up to this point, Karasuno High School, the team that we are following, has secured their slot to the spring tournament in Tokyo. And this is everything that Hinata, our main character, has been working so hard for. Hinata, I don't know why I blanked on that name for a second, has been working so hard for, and he's excited to have punched his ticket with his team to the spring tournament. Now, that official confirmation that they were going to the tournament occurred several volumes ago, and they have since, in the volumes since that time, have been working on the individual training camps, they have been working on individual skill growth, and just talking basically about how excited they are to go to the spring tournament, but I had a gut suspicion that 26 was where things were really going to kick off. But they don't really kick off until the second half of volume 26. The first half is focusing on a practice game against Date Tech. Date Tech is another high school in the prefecture that they have played before, and they're really coming together as a team and giving themselves one last practice against a team, because once they get to the spring tournament, they are all in and they have to be winning games. So this is really their last chance to kind of hone some skills or practice some things that they would like to try against another team with a relatively low consequences situation. So the spring tournament actually starts in the second half of volume 26, and there's a couple things that go on before the actual tournament gets underway. So the first thing that the author does that I really like in this book is he's kind of building out a character that we haven't seen quite a lot of. Most of the characters on both Karasuno High School team and the teams that Karasuno has been playing have been built out very, very well, and I think that was a deliberate and a deliberately good choice by the author to make these other volleyball teams that we're playing against seem interesting, seem like fun teams to get to know, and we're also kind of cheering for them. They're not just nameless people on the other side of the net, but they're people we really care about, and it makes the games more interesting and a little bit more tense. However, there is a lot of people on a volleyball team, and some of the players who don't get a lot of playtime haven't been quite built out as much as some of our main characters on the Karasuno High School team, and one of these characters is Kinoshito. Kinoshito hasn't had a ton of screen time. We know he's there. He's listed in the beginning when they have like the rosters. He is here, but he isn't really as built out. He's here, but he, like I mentioned, he hasn't been greatly built out as a character. He's a second year. He just kind of blends into the background, and the author kind of introduces him as a character who doesn't mind blending in the background. He doesn't really want to put himself out there in the spotlight, to have that much attention on him, and that's something that the coach notices and decides to kind of push Kinoshito out of his comfort zone and ask him to really step up and start putting himself out there. So growing this character makes me think that we're going to see a little bit more of him in the spring tournament than we did in the other tournaments or the other games that Karasuno has played in, which is interesting. It's a character that I didn't know if it was one that was going to be developed, but he is now, and I think it's going to be an interesting addition. So we have that aspect going on leading into the spring tournament. The second thing, which is probably evidenced by the cover, is Kiyoko. Is it Shimizu? I call her Kiyoko. Kiyoko is the woman or the girl who is the manager. She is a third year, so she's training her replacement, but she's the manager of the volleyball team. She doesn't play on the team, obviously. It's the boys volleyball team. The girls volleyball team has their own separate thing going on, but Kiyoko is managing the team, and we haven't really seen a lot of her. She's kind of been a background character who's there, who's around, who's helping with the team, but doesn't really have a main central focus. She is around the team a lot, so we have had some pages with her on it, but we haven't seen a lot of her personal character and her personal story, and that also comes out in volume 26. We see that she did track and field, or I think it was hurdles in particular. Actually, no, it was some sort of hurdling event in track and field when she was in middle school, and she kind of just, I feel like, gave up or wasn't very confident in herself. She also had some self-confidence issues because when she would hit the hurdles that she was going over, she would scrape her knees, which was embarrassing. This was something that also happened in my high school, where on the soccer team, the girls would be like embarrassed that you would get like a little cut or something. It was frequent, and it was soccer. You'd be wearing cleats, you were bound to get a couple bruises and scrapes on your legs throughout it. But some of the girls acted like it was so embarrassing to have like bruises or like a cut on your shin. I don't know, it just seemed like a weird thing to care about, but I guess some people do really care about that, and she was kind of embarrassed by that. And I don't know. I think she's gonna have some stuff to say during the tournament. She might provide inspiration during pivotal times for the team, but I do just like that she is present in this volume. And the best 2 pages, or the 2 spreads in this book, come from Kiyoko. So this is probably a 4-star volume, with the exception of the 5-star that occurs because of these 2 pages. So to lead up to this, Hinata, of course, in the struggle and the drama of going to the spring tournament, has accidentally gotten his bag mixed up with someone else's bag at the train station, and he doesn't have his volleyball shoes. So Kiyoko volunteers to go get the shoes while the tournament starts so that Hinata can join the game with his shoes. So she runs to get the bag, and now she's running back. And the 2 best pages in this series are her jumping this, I think it's like a pedestrian guardrail to keep people from running into the road, and a throwback to her in track hurdling. These 2 pages are next to each other and single-handedly push this volume up to a 5-star. The art is fabulous. I just want a poster with Kiyoko jumping over the hurdles. I think this is just it's just the coolest, scene and pictures, and that just made the entire book. Those 2 pages made the entire book, and yeah, that's basically all I can say. I had neutral feelings towards Kiyoko up to this point, but now I'm kind of feeling her, and I'm excited to see the role that she's going to play in this spring tournament. The tournament has begun. They're playing like Bakari. They are playing a high school team, and I do not have the student's name. They're playing a team, but the game hasn't really gotten underway, and they're just getting started. At this point, it's a lot of nerves, it's a lot of tension, and it's a lot of stress, and they're just getting into it. We haven't had a lot of time to feel out the other team. I think that's why I'm blanking on their name right now, because usually once we have a couple rounds with the team, then I get to know the characters and the school name and who it does what on the team, but we're just getting started. Volume 26 is all tension and all stress, and I am so excited to see where the spring tournament leads. I hope that Karasuno goes all the way, of course, but I want them to do the best, and I'm excited to see where the series leads. If you read Volume 26 or have any thoughts on Volume 26, I would love to hear it. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.